This is the movie where shit goes down. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my Harry Potter review series where at the end of every video, we rank our favorite to least favorite out of the 8 Harry Potter films. We put them in a little table, and we just kind of rank them. But today, we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the 4th Harry Potter movie. This is Harry's 4th year at Hogwarts. But before we get started, please leave this video a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate all of that. I'm trying to grow this channel, so you doing that will really help a lot. Now, the way this movie begins is Harry is away from the Dursleys. He's already with Ron and Hermione, and they're about to go to the Quidditch World Cup. In this magical world, such thing as the Quidditch World Cup does happen. As a sports fan who loves to watch sports, who loves to watch the World Cup, of soccer every 4 years, it's fun for me to know that since they have this big sport Quidditch in this world, that they have such a thing as a Quidditch World Cup. And what I love about it, they go to the Quidditch World Cup, they take the portkey, they meet a guy named Cedric, who's played by Robert Pattinson, and his dad. They all go to the Quidditch World Cup through a portkey. Then Harry is looking at this little tent. They're at the campsite where they're staying. This tent looks really small, but like about 10 people go in there. And Harry's like, how are we all going to fit in there? And then Harry goes in there, and the tent's ginormous on the inside. And that's what I love about the way this movie is setting up so far. This movie is already expanding the Wizarding World, because the last 3 movies were the Wizarding World was a little bit contained within Hogwarts. I have a friend who says this is his favorite Harry Potter movie just because of that one scene where they walk into the tent and the tent looks so big. He loves all that magical stuff. And I have to agree with him. That is dope. And now the little campsite that we're at is getting attacked. We don't know who it's getting attacked by, but it's getting attacked by the Death Eaters, the followers of Lord Voldemort. And they feel like something's big's about to happen, right? So they're stepping up their game. They're like, all right, we have to come out of the shadows now and start doing our thing. So they mess up our World Cup. That's not cool. They launch a little death mark up in the sky. So our little kids, they don't know much about it. They're like, who are these guys, right? And you see when Barty Crouch comes up to Harry in the campsite and he's like, you did this? And all the adults who have already experienced this, they already look scared of this, that the Death Eaters are out here. We as the audience, we don't know about the Death Eaters yet and how bad they can be. So does Harry. Harry doesn't know about that, right? It's already setting up the tone for the movie that, hey, there's something much larger and darker looming around. Like, this is going to be a big threat coming up. Now, Hogwarts has been selected to host the Tri-Wizard Tournament. And basically what that is there's a Goblet of Fire, right? Students submit their name into it, and then when it's time for a selection, the cup spits out names, and you're like, oh, hey, you are going to compete in the Tri-Wizard Tournament, which is basically three very difficult tasks that the wizards have to do, and basically they're all fighting for this one Tri-Wizard Cup, and they're going to be like known, all the glory and fame is going to come to them. And the way this tournament works is that 3 different schools have to compete, and Hogwarts is the one hosting it, so there's one person from Hogwarts. 2 different schools that are not a Hogwarts are visiting Hogwarts. That already, again, expands the Wizarding World. And so basically, all the students are submitting their names. Dumbledore is telling them that, hey, once you submit your name and you're selected, you can't back out of this. And this is going to be very scary, very difficult, and you might die in it. And all the students are like,
cool, I want to do this. This sounds dope.
But you see, what the problem is that this tournament has an age restriction on it. You have to be at least 17 years of age to submit your name in it. And our hero, Harry Potter, is not 17. He's only 14 years of age. But what do you know? When it's time for a selection, we got Cedric Diggory representing Hogwarts. We got Fleur representing that other school. And we got Victor Crumb representing his own school. So here's our 3 Tri-Wizards. And they're like, cool. So you 3 are going to be competing in this. But then the cup spits out a 4th name. And you're just thinking, hey, who could that be? Will that be Ron Weasley? Could that be Ron Weasley? No, it's Harry Potter. And everybody's looking at him. They're all like, yo, like, you are not even old enough. How did you do this? Harry doesn't know what's happening because he didn't submit his name into it. So there's this kind of whole mystery going on of what's this bigger plan? Like, who submitted Harry's name? Why did they submit Harry's name? Why is Harry in all this? And again, the whole year revolves around Harry. And all the students around the school are not happy about it. How this movie begins to explore within the Harry Potter world is puberty. The kids are growing up. They're 14, 13 years of age now. So now it's time to experience some puberty. And some kids start to get jealous, like Ron. Ron starts acting like a little bitch. Well, Ron is pissed at Harry because he's like, yo, how did you submit your name? Did you not tell me? Like, you knew I wanted to be in this death trap of tournament. Why did you submit your name? So Ron's like mad with Harry about that. It's a little petty thing that he kind of gets over pretty quickly after the first tournament, but he's mad about it and is acting like a little bitch. And all the students have like little crushes on each other, and there's this very, very funny sequence where now we have a Christmas dance, this big Christmas ball, and the students, especially the Tri-Wizards, have to ask have to have a date for this dance. And Harry has no idea how to ask a girl out on a date. I don't either. That's okay, Harry. Now we see in the train in the beginning of the movie that Harry's looking at this girl. He fancies this girl. He's like, oh, maybe. Later in the movie, he does ask her on a date very awkwardly up in this owl tower, and she turns him down. She says that Cedric asked her out. And yeah, Harry just has to brush it off like it's nothing. He's like,
it's cool. My heart's not broken.
I refuse to believe that no girl within Hogwarts has asked Harry out himself on a date. This kid has already multiple times saved the school. He's the he's the boy who lived. He literally defeated Lord Voldemort back when he was a baby. He's famous. He's rich. How did no girl ask him out on a date? And how was it so difficult for him to find a date? First task is probably my favorite, which is Harry having to fight a dragon. I just love the flying sequences of him on a broom, especially his second broom, the Firebolt, that's what's called. That broom is so much better looking than the Nimbus 2000. I just love his flying sequences. I love the way he took out the dragon. Second tournament is the underwater tournament. They have to hold their breath underwater for a whole hour. Harry is struggling to figure out how to do this. You definitely see in this movie that he did not want to be in this tournament at all, and his name was just kind of thrown in there. There's no backing down now, and he is struggling to figure out how he's going to get around this tournament at all. He's reading books. He's trying to study. He's getting all the kind of help he can. Now, this is where I'm kind of thinking, looking back on this movie, this is where I'm noticing that Ron and Hermione basically do nothing in this movie, like wizard-wise, except bring the little, teen drama that this movie has within it. Hermione being the very smart one of the group and knowing everything, I find it a little difficult that she was not able to help Harry at any stage throughout the 3 tasks. She just kind of doesn't do anything in this movie. Neither does Ron. Ron just, he's a little bitch at one point, but then, later gets over it, and now we're all friends. And yeah, they're all there to support Harry, and this is really Harry's adventure. Second task, the underwater task, Neville helps Harry out. He gives him some gillyweed. He eats that shit, drops him in the water. He grows some gills, starts to breathe underwater now. And they have to basically just save one person each, but Fleur is not able to complete her mission, so Harry's looking around. He's like, well, Fleur's not coming, so god damn it, now I have to save both of them. Basically, Harry saves 2 of them, saves Ron and Fleur's sister, and it's all good. Harry gets rewarded 2nd place for saving both. Honestly, looking back at that, he should have got 2nd place because, again, he saved both. He didn't have to save both. But that's what Harry does. Harry's the hero, He looks around, he's like, nobody else is gonna do it. I gotta do it. The 3rd task, all of our 4 competitors are still good. They are looking to get that cup, and this task takes place in this ginormous maze. Now, Cedric and Harry are the only 2 left. They see the cup, and they are running for it. They are trying to trip each other, grab each other. They're ripping each other's shirts. They really want that cup, and Cedric falls down, and he's asking Harry for help because Cedric's being consumed by the maze, and Harry's like, all right, I'll save you, no problem. He saves Cedric, and then they both decide, all right, let's grab the cup together since we're both here. We got to get out of this maze because Harry's just that nice of a guy, He's not going to be like, yeah, no, thanks. Thanks for being good, Cedric. I'll grab the cup myself. No, they count 1, 2, 3, grab the cup. The cup was a port key that was supposed to take them back to Hogwarts where all the fans were and the happy music was, but it takes them to this very dark graveyard. Wormtail comes out with Lord Voldemort looking like a fetus, and he kills Cedric. I remember when I first saw that, I was like, whoa, oh my god, that is the first time we're seeing a kid die in this movie. The last 3 movies, the kids have been in danger because, Hogwarts is not a safe school, blah, blah, blah. But Cedric fully eats it and fully dies in this one. And it's a very sad death. This is the movie where we actually crank it up to a whole different level. I'd say like the first 3, compared from the 4th to the 8th one, it's like a whole different type of thing. Mainly because, in this one, at the end, Lord Voldemort, played by Ralph Fiennes, comes back to life. So he's like, nah, your mom's gone and I'm back in my full force. I'm ready to go. And he's like, Harry, let's duel. And man, this is where we see the first Harry and fully strong Lord Voldemort go head to head. And it is epic for a very short moment. My favorite scene probably in the whole movie is when Lord Voldemort is like torturing Harry and he's like telling him, nah, come on, like don't be a coward, like face me, let's fight. And Harry runs behind this grave. And, you know, Lord Voldemort shoots a little spell at him and he starts talking shit about Harry's mom and all of that. And I love this reaction from Harry because one of the biggest characteristics that I associate with Harry Potter is bravery and courage. Because if you ask me who do I think is one of the bravest characters in cinema history, I would have to go with Harry Potter as like really up there on the list. Because this kid is a kid and he is always with it. He's always ready to take on the danger. As he is scared, he doesn't know what to do. He's one-on-one with Lord Voldemort and all his followers are standing there. Harry was not prepared for this to happen at all. He does not know what to do. He is underarmed. He has no idea what to do. And he's sitting behind that grave and he hears Lord Voldemort talk shit about his mom. And Daniel Radcliffe was so great in that little moment because he gives him that face. He's like, let's go. And he gets up and he's like, have it your way. And we see that first iconic scene of them, their little Expelliarmus and, this looks weird, of Expelliarmus and Avada Kedavra collide, the green and the red. That is fan-freaking-tastic. Even more touching about that, all the little spirits come out. And Harry gets to talk to his mom for the first time. Or not really talk, like his mom talks to him for the first time ever. Because his parents and his parents' death and how that has affected him has been a big thing throughout these 4 movies so far. And in this 4th movie, for a very brief moment, his parents talk to him, his dad and his mom, and even Cedric's spirit. Cedric's spirit's like, yo, take my body back to my dad. And they all help him, and Harry gets the cup, and he is out of there. But Lord Voldemort is still lurking around. He is not gone. He is going to be a threat for the future. One of the most heartbreaking scenes within the Harry Potter franchise, in my opinion, and that is Cedric's dad seeing Cedric's dead body. Whoever is the actor who played Cedric's dad was so fantastic in that scene. Oh, dude, that is heartbreaking. And that begins a streak of 4 consecutive Harry Potter movies where there's like a really sad part that really hits you in the feelings, really tugs on your heartstrings. And whoever is the actor who plays Cedric's dad, I mean, so fantastic in that scene. And again, the choir music, the band music starts playing, and you know, everybody's happy. Everybody's like, yeah, Cedric and Harry's back. And Cedric's dead body is just laying there, and then everything just turns dark extremely quickly. Let's talk about a character that I haven't talked about yet, and that is Mad-Eye Moody. Now, he is our new professor for the Defense Against the Dark Arts. We get a new one every year. And he actually has a big role in this movie. He takes Harry under his wing through this Triwizard Tournament, and he's like, alright, I'll help you. And he kind of lays all these little clues throughout. Like, he gives Neville this book where Neville learns about Gillyweed and he helps Harry. So there's this long string of Mad-Eye Moody helping Harry. And you're wondering, why is he helping him, or why is he taking such a likeness to Harry Potter? And at the end, we find out that it actually wasn't Mad-Eye Moody ever. He was Barty Crouch Jr., who is Barty Crouch's son, the little politician that we saw earlier in the movie that freaked out at Harry. And there's a small detail where I noticed watching the movie again for the 100th time the other day. I never noticed this detail, but after the second trial, Barty Crouch and Mad-Eye Moody talk. They have this little argument, and Mad-Eye Moody, you know that little like the little lip thing Barty Crouch Jr. does. I never noticed that small detail of Mad-Eye Moody actually doing that and kind of giving himself away, and that's why Barty Crouch actually freaked out. I just kind of always thought that like he looked at him, or like or Mad-Eye Moody said something to him where it like clicked in his head like, this is probably my son. But no, he did the little lip thing. And that's how he noticed that I was his son. And then he died. Mad-Eye Moody in this movie actually teaches the kids something. He teaches them about the 3 unforgivable curses, and one of them is Avada Kedavra, which kills somebody. And at that point in the movie, I feel like you already know that, like, we'll probably see somebody dead. Knowing that the Tried Wizard tournament is coming, and Dumbledore already said that somebody could die in this tournament, the foreshadowing is already put in place of that, like, hey, we might see one of these curses come back. It's probably going to be the deadly one. Somebody's probably going to die. There's a scene where all the students are in the Great Hall, and Dumbledore is sitting in his chair, and you can already tell just by the way Dumbledore's sitting. He's sitting like on his hand, like he's thinking, like he just doesn't even know what to do anymore right now. And this is when it truly feels like all hope is beginning to kind of fade away. I mean, they're sitting in this great hall again, and all the students look sad and depressed. A student just died. You know, those candles are not lit up. The magical sky that they have, it all looks gray. And Dumbledore does something great in this movie, and that is, you know, he says that he doesn't want to ruin Cedric's memory, and he tells the students of how it actually happened, which, you know, leads into the Order of the Phoenix, the next movie. Dumbledore does say that, hey, like, I gotta tell you how this is because the Ministry doesn't want you to know, and that would be a dishonor to Cedric's memory. So he died by Lord Voldemort killing him. This movie is not really supposed to end on, like, the happiest of notes, because it's supposed to kind of depict that, hey, the future is not looking bright because this Dark Lord is back. This guy's back. This guy's gonna be a problem. Things are changing, like Hermione said. However, the movie doesn't really end there. After that sad scene of Dumbledore telling kids how Cedric died, they all go outside to say goodbye to the other 2 schools, and everybody's happy and all cheerful, and the French girls give Ron a kiss, and Ron's happy, and everybody's smiling, and it's kind of a happy ending. But again, I think that one scene, or, you know, the whole of the 3rd act is setting up that, like, for this one small moment, you can be kind of happy, but look forward to the future because it does not look bright. Like, prepare yourself for the future. So, Harry Potter and Goblet of Fire has great action sequences through the 3 major tasks that we see the wizards do, combined with a very interesting mystery of why Harry is even competing in this tournament, with a great, scary, yet very entertaining and thrilling finale with Lord Voldemort facing Harry for the first time in, like, his full body. So, looking at our little table here, where does Goblet of Fire go? I'm personally going to put Goblet of Fire below Prisoner of Azkaban, just because Prisoner of Azkaban, again, the filmmaking from Alfonso Cuarón was so great, and the whole story of there being 2 parts to the story, and the director paying attention to all these little details sprinkled around to set up this whole story throughout the movie. I think that's done just so much better than this movie, even though this movie is much more action-packed than Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm going to put it in 2nd place below Prisoner of Azkaban for now. So, is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire your favorite Harry Potter movie? Is it not? Let me know all of that down in the comments. I would love to have a discussion with you about that. But for now, this is where I'm going to leave you. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you guys in the next review, which will be for Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.